What's up, everybody? How is your week going so far? Now I'm going to wait and do my standard audio check before we hop into it because, testing, testing. If I still have audio issues, I'm just going to throw my head at the wall because I even tested it by recording and listening to myself. What's up, everybody? How is your... See? That sounds good. My audio is working. The video game audio is not coming through. I'm sure it'll just randomly kick on here in about 15 minutes. Anyway, how are y'all doing? Hope you're having a good evening, good week, good year. We are officially out of Mecha March, and I'm still playing Gundam games. We're just gonna pick up where I left off, probably. See, I had half a mind to start the stream with the Bamco white screen and troll everybody and say like, "Hey, look, I'm finally playing Elden Ring." But y'all know that I have no desire to play Elden Ring. Not because I don't think it's a good game, just because it's not for me. See, and I have no problem admitting that. Most people have a problem admitting that a popular game just isn't for them. Madden football, for instance, is it's the same game that came out like 15 years ago. They haven't really made any improvements beyond just changing the roster every year. But it's just not a game for me. But it still sells. How y'all doing? Like I said, hopefully my game audio will kick in here. This capture card's really funny. Like, I probably need to invest in a better capture card. Probably need to crank my audio down here. It looks like I'm blasting here. At least my microphone is working this time. I'm not entirely sure what I did to fix it. But if it can pick up Cinderella's farts from across the room, then that's pretty impressive. Yes, stream hype indeed. Thank you so much for the help that you've been providing with proofing and editing the G5 ebook. Once that is ready to go and the website is completely updated. Right now it's basically just a placeholder for a link to download the PDF. Once that website is updated, I'll be able to kind of share with you guys some of the exciting stuff that I'm working on that's not Gundam related. Okay. John, that take, I both love it and hate it at the same time because it's exactly right. I think someone needs to, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna screenshot this comment because this is perfect. Madden games are what Bandai does to Zaku kits. Re-release them with slightly different color palettes, and that is a fact. Yeah, see? Nothing wrong with not liking, 8-bit and 16-bit indie games. I am trying to challenge the notion that indie games need to be retro games. And there are a lot of indie developers out there that are doing similar stuff to what I would like to do with the work that I'm doing behind the scenes, but too many indie devs, try to recreate this retro vibe. They create these Metroidvanias and what have you. And I'm just not into that, It's just never been my bag, baby. Now I remember this mission, and we're gonna be here a while. This is that mission where we are a team of Zakus up against a squadron of Goofs and Doms, and we have to protect this Gao carrier, but we're significantly outgunned and outmatched. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. I think it's strange to me how, the graphics of this game look very incredible, but the shadows, if you look at the shadows on the mobile suits, they're extremely pixelated. Like you can kind of see their especially the shadows that are cast by the mobile suit themselves. That's a pretty sweet looking custom Dom. It's like a gray instead of purple. Or maybe it's just my screen isn't picking up colors right now. And I actually forgot how to play this game, so it's gonna be a fun little ride here. But you know what? It's still better than the, whoa. I'm not even sure exactly how I did that. Oh. There had to be budget cuts somewhere, yeah. Uh, I guess technically these characters are named, but yeah, I think that it's the real-time rendered shadows. If they were baked shadows, I'm sure that they would look fine. We're just gonna start hawking grenades at these guys. What? Come on, guys. Wait a second. Get... So even when I land direct hits, nothing. I don't even know how to protect this this stupid Gao. Ooh, a Zogok. Now you're gonna have to give me some context. Did you find a Zogok kit, or did you find it like playing GBO, something like that? What's the context? What? Okay, that was kind of strange. I don't even know what I'm doing wrong. Clearly, I have to protect this Gao. Not sure how to do it beyond just staying close to it, so we're gonna stay close to it. Maybe... Oh, not sure what happened there, but... Again, it would probably help if I could remember the controls. I know the basic stuff, like how to shoot, how to dodge. Okay. Oh man, this is brutal. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I need to select a, maybe I have some other mobile suits that I can choose from. I'm pretty sure that I don't, though. Oh, here we go. We can play the Blue Destiny, but from the Xeon perspective. Good old Nimbus Stritzen. Yeah, local hobby shops are going to be probably the only place you can find Gunpla anymore now that Bandai has instituted their weird anti-scalping policy. I think I've made my feelings pretty clear about what I think Bandai is really up to. It's all about consolidating the market and making sure that they are the only ones that can make any money off of these things. Whenever the number of outlets that you can purchase an item from decreases as opposed to increases, then you're going to look at increased prices and increased scarcity. That's like just basic economics. For instance, if there's only one gas station open in town, then that gas station is going to be backed up. Everyone's going to be there, and therefore the prices are going to be higher. Your waits are going to be longer. It's going to be more expensive to get gas there. Same thing goes for Bandai deciding to say, well, we don't want people selling internationally at high prices. Well, and then and then they go and now Bluefin and I forget what the other two companies were, but the other distributors of premium Bandai at least, they all merged. So now they're all operating under one company. Seems kind of sus to me. I hope that I have some weapons with this Ifrit. Well, at least I know I have the missile pods, but it doesn't look like he's got his weapons here. Yes, exactly. He's exactly like Games Workshop. Now you contrast that with say the third-party Transformers market, which, oh, okay, he does have his heat swords. I was gonna say, I'm gonna be really upset if I don't have my freaking heat swords. Yeah, compare that to the Transformers market where you've got third-party companies that, they can make Transformers toys. They just can't call them Autobots, Decepticons. They have to come up with, weird third-party names. Did I really get beat that easily? Shoot. I'm not paying attention. Speaking of Transformers, it's got those okay, let's see what we can do here. Because clearly this is like the Blue Destiny pilot here that I'm up against, because it's an ace. There we go. I'll do my finishing move on him. I wonder how many of these I have before it'll say that I don't have enough juice. I remember this was the only way I was able to beat the Mudrock, too. Whoa. Oh, am I supposed to kill this Medea? Don't mind if I do. Oh, he thought he could sneak up and get me from behind. Oh, shoot. I'm pretty proud of myself, that last minute evasion maneuver. No look dodge. It would help if I could read Japanese, of course, because then I could tell what my mission is supposed to be instead of just guessing. I think he's having some issues here. Oh, 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 come on. Yeah, that's it. It's Yu Kojima is the whoa, whoa. Wait, are they trying to destroy the Medea? Is that why my attacks weren't doing any damage? Is because I'm trying to steal the Medea or something? But yeah, I know that this probably isn't the most grounded and realistic Gundam game out there, but I really do like the fast-paced battles as opposed to the clunky, there's a place I think for the mech simulator style that GBO offers. Again, it's just not for me. I would love to start up a company selling competing items with various companies. Me too. Me too. Now seeing the Ifrit, I was able to get the Gundam base, Ifrit custom, and Blue Destiny from a hobby shop too. Wow, really? I've never seen an Ifrit in stores. The only Gundam kits I have seen in stores are Sharzaku 2, the Moon Gundam, RX-78, and the Goof Custom. Yes, Encounters in Space. Such a good game. I never had it, but I played it at a friend's house once. Kind of had a Zone of the Enders vibe to it, which I was very much into. So I didn't even really have to beat them. I just had to, I guess, distract them for 30 seconds. See, again, if I could understand what the objectives were behind these missions, then I would play accordingly. Instead of trying to take out every single enemy, I would, play to the objective. Yeah, now that I've got some 3D printing chops under my belt, I would love to start selling at least Mobile Suit STLs if people wanted to 3D print their own Gundam miniatures, or resin conversion parts. One of the projects that I'm working on right now, I know I've got dozens of projects. I did finally repair my Eric Blanc Zaku backpack. I did finish repainting the shoulder armor for the Eric Blanc Zaku 2. I've got my Zeta Plus is still being repainted. The next project that I've got kind of in the hopper is, see, I've always wanted a 7th Gundam, the RX-78-7 instead of -2 or -3. And they do make a full armor Gundam 7th, an HG kit, but they don't. But the full armor doesn't come off. It doesn't actually have the regular full or the regular armor Gundam 7th underneath. So I decided to 3D print the parts to convert an old Granddaddy Gundam into a Gundam 7th. The parts fitting isn't quite exact yet. The pauldrons work really well. The chest, not so much. The calves work really well, and the what was the last part? And the biceps work well. What doesn't are the forearms and the thighs. The head works really well too, and the backpack. But the backpack was easy because the backpack just had to fit onto the chest, so it wasn't. But the problem was that the innards of. So basically, I'm 3D printing everything except for the innards of the mobile suit, the joints that allow it to actually move. And for the most part, I think I've got it down. But, you know, if people want some HG resin conversion kits, I know that a lot of people, obviously, you know, perfect grade and master grade conversion kits are extremely popular because, I guess because they're bigger, but you know, I'm always interested in cheaper, and if you're going to make something custom, you know, you kind of want to cut your teeth on high grade kits. You're not going to buy a perfect grade model and use that as the first kit that you try to paint. So, would you guys be interested if I were to start, you know, making some 3D printed resin conversion kits for HG kits? Would you be interested in that? And what models would you like to see? Okay, wait a second. Alright, getting my hands on some of my rare kits all depends on... Yes, that's true. You never know. There's always some diamonds in the rough. Still waiting for Gundam 5e. Yeah, no kidding. I think it's only actually been like 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. GBO gave me Mech Warrior Mercenary feel for Gundams. Yeah, exactly. You're like, and the thing is I love Mech Warrior, but it's not the same as Gundam. And as much as people like to say, "Oh, I don't like super robots. I like UC Gundam." Me too. You know, I'm a UC fanboy. I hate Seed. I hate IBO. I hate all of the new series that come out. What I will say though is that at the end of the day, Gundam is a space opera. It is just it's right up there with Star Wars. It just happens to have giant robots instead of lightsabers. And those giant robots actually carry lightsabers. It still has space wizards, you know, it still has all of the goofy things that you would expect in a space opera. New type BS and all that good stuff. So, you know, to sit there and say, oh, well, I just want a mech simulator with no new types and yeah, that's going too far in the other direction. There's like there's definitely oh man. I thought Blue Destiny Unit 1 came before the Ifrit. Maybe I'm wrong here. Cheesy dialogue, yes. Ouch. Shoot, he's faster than I am. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I know there's got to be a way to activate my exam. Not that I'm entirely sure what my exam would do. Yes, science fantasy is another term for it. I like to call it science fantasy as well. Oh man, I'm all busted. And like I said, there's room for the more grounded and oh no, Dombro, R.I.P. Dombro. There's room in Gundam for a bit of that, but I think that being exclusive to that mech simulator, it does a disservice to all that Gundam is. Yu Kojima is awakening as a new type. This is where I'd like to see his hair just like turn yellow and his eyes go green and howdy howdy. That's funny. I don't remember cutting his head off. Look at those baggy pants he's wearing. I didn't know that the normal suits came with Jinko jeans. Oh, great. Another submarine mission. Ooh. Oh, and I haven't asked, but hopefully my, frame rate on this game isn't absolutely atrocious. I feel like you guys would have said something by now if it were. Okay, that looks good. I don't know why sometimes the frame rate on my PS3 dips while I'm streaming, but it seems to be working alright well right now. Yeah, I didn't have time to throw together anything exciting to show in stream today. Hopefully, I'll be able to stream next week with some of the work that I've been doing on my own video game project. I think that there's some exciting stuff in there if for fellow budding game developers, if you are looking for ways to optimize certain behaviors in game. So without giving too much away, one of the things that I'm working on is something that's usually done with raycasts. I'm doing it with colliders. The reason being because, a collider only requires enough memory when something actually impacts with it, right? It's not constantly firing, whereas a raycast, and there's, in generally speaking, colliders are better than raycasts for certain functions. So, or let me say they're more efficient. So basically, I'm building a system that is collider based instead of raycast based, and hopefully, people will get a kick out of it. I think it's one of the core functions to the game that I'm making, and hopefully, it will give people the tools to, if you're interested in that type of stuff, I can show how I did it, and that way, people can make use of the various lessons I've learned banging my head against the wall. Salt and pepper hair, yeah. I'm clearly I'm going for my Tony Stark arc. Or the Entenmann's Donuts phase Steven Seagal look. Every once in a while, man. Yeah, clearly I've been drinking too much if I start waving my drink around as a prop. Ooh. Oh. Daddy like this beam rifle. You mean I can take out a GM in a single shot? Whoo! Heaven help you boys when I figure out how to activate the exam in this thing. Yes, I know it's probably just pronounced exam, but I don't know. Whenever there's a term like that that is, it's like I know that the way that the normal word would be pronounced. For some reason, I pronounce the acronym of that word as exam instead of exam. Suck it. Oh man, that's a lot of targets. Ooh. Cinderella, are you whining? What's going on? This is indeed the Blue Destiny unit too. Now, I never read the Blue Destiny manga. Someone tell me, was there a reason that Nimbus always wanted the red shoulders on all of his mobile suits? Is that like, is there a lore reason behind that? I see the audio from the game hasn't kicked in yet, which is rather unfortunate. If it makes you feel any better, I don't hear it either. I figured out my microphone audio, but I still have not been able to figure out how to get all of my audio to come through correctly. Pilot thing is calling card. That's just kind of a rare thing compared to, say, like Shin Matsunaga having the white Zaku, or Johnny Ridden having a red Zaku, Vincent Gleichner having a blue Zaku. This is the Blue Destiny 2. I'm playing as Nimbus. Nimbus stealing. How do you guys feel about that explanation where they were like, technically, Char's Zaku wasn't red because he painted it red. It was red because his instructors hated him, and so they gave him like the rust-colored Zaku as a way of making him seem, you know, not as good as the other pilots. And then he was so good that he made the red Zaku his calling card. That is like right up there with the whole like, oh, he took the limiters off of his mobile suit, and that's why he goes 3 times faster than everybody else. I tend to think that that kind of explanation behind stuff is pretty stupid. Um, I prefer the more. I know I'm gonna totally contradict myself. Here I am saying that people who think Gundam should be grounded is kind of dumb. seems a bit funny since he's yeah, even his warships are red. Uh, it's gonna seem a bit contradictory since I said like, oh, people who want Gundam to be super grounded, are wrong. But I prefer the grounded explanation behind Char's moving 3 times faster than everybody else, where it was like, okay, so what he did was he catapulted himself off of battleships at Loom to make himself go faster by giving himself that extra boost in zero gravity, and so it looked like he was going faster. That, I think, A, it's more credit to the pilot, and B, it's less of that whole super robot-y thing, like, oh, we're just gonna shed all of the innards of the mobile suit and all of a sudden it becomes super robot. Also probably yeah. It just reeks of that really bad Hideo Kojima style of writing where everything has to have a explanation. Not everything necessarily needs to be laid out in the most technical terms. And then, of course, by the time Metal Gear Solid 4 came around, Hideo Kojima was so lazy, it was just nanomachines everything. How did he... nanomachines, son! Limiters are prevent a G-force from wrecking a pilot, no. I guess so. Isn't that what nanomachines are for? I find it hard to believe that if you were going to build, and maybe I'm wrong, anybody who is an aircraft pilot or works for, the Air Force and can say whether or not, does an F-22 Raptor have limiters installed so that the G-forces don't wreck the pilot? Or, what's... Because that's all mobile suits are, right? They're just aircraft, essentially. Imagine if the nanomachines are just SD mobile suits. Yeah, a flight suit, I think, makes more sense than limiters. I think my favorite example of Hideo Kojima over-explaining something was Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5, where it's like... he wanted to have a hot chick with boobs in the game, like a 90s action movie. And rather than just letting it be what it was, he had to have an explanation. Oh, well, the parasites in her blood, they only operate with photosynthesis, and therefore she has to be, half naked all the time, otherwise she can't breathe. And it's like, just stop trying so hard. You're making it worse, honestly, when you have stupid excuses like that. No other action movie tries to explain away the gratuitous sex scenes. They just have it, right? even Hot Shots. Should the explanation have a 75-minute long cutscene? Yeah, exactly. Different styles of cutscenes. Right. Like I said, I just think that the explanation of, limiter removal is kind of dumb compared to, well, he springboarded off of the battleships, and it gave him a slight speed boost in 0G. Because even if you were to accept the limiter removal explanation, How would Char's Zaku go 3 times as fast on Earth? It wouldn't, because that doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter what the limiters are of your mobile suit. It is going to run as fast as a giant metal as a giant metal humanoid figure will run. It's not going to, you know. It's like on a test when you lose points for over-explaining. Oh, what's going on, Crisco? Man, if I knew how to turn on my exam system... Okay, finally. Play a cutscene already. Give me some plot... You know, a plot break. Yeah, this is the grounded and realistic Gundam I'm looking for. It's when they go Super Saiyan and stab each other directly in the head. Ooh, nice. Say what's up for me. Can't wait to hang out with you. Red do go faster. Well, don't blow your speakers out. We paint it red because it makes it go faster. We paint it purple because that's the sneaky colour. Does that make Todd Howard the leader of the orcs in Warhammer, in the Warhammer universe? Because it just works? Yeah, that is, hey, look at that. The Blue Destiny Xeon completed. Yeah, I think, well, maybe the flirting in Char's counterattack is probably on par with the flirting in Attack of the Clones. I'm trying to think of some of the things that Quest said, you know, that were just utterly cringeworthy. But I love you, Captain. I know. Tell you what, if you just get in this giant mobile armor and go fight Amuro, I'll forget all about Nanai. What are you doing, Cinderella? You want to come say hi? Come on. What? Come here. Not out there. Cinderella, what are you doing? Come here. Up, up, up. No? You want to get up on this side? I see tail. Come here. You smell terrible. Yeah, I don't think that there was any effective flirting in Char's counterattack. You are so stinky. You're stinky girl. Yeah. I guess a lot of the flirting came from Hathaway. It was like, you killed my wannabe girlfriend. Is that flirting? Ooh, we got Lost War Chronicles. So I unlocked a lot of stuff with that mission, but it doesn't. I don't know what that. I don't know. All I saw was Lost War Chronicles. Everything else is anybody's guess. Ooh, that's awesome. So, okay, tell me, is Foundry worth it? Because I kind of want to splurge and get Foundry, but I don't know. I'm sure it's better than Astral. I only just found out that Astral is no longer supported. Like the servers are still active and you can still use Astral, but they're not going to make any more updates to it. They're like, "Oh, the virtual tabletop market is very competitive and we don't have like a niche of our own and all that stuff." And I'm like, "Of course it's competitive. But that's why you try to make a better product than Roll20. Like, just because something's hard doesn't mean you quit. Look, all right. I'm gonna quote the wisdom of one Billy Madison, okay? You gotta think. You got a dog. You got a responsibility. All right? When the dog is lost, you don't look for an hour and then call it quits. You get your ass out there and you find that fucking dog. Foundry is pretty amazing. Multitudes of modules. Okay, then maybe Foundry is worth it, especially since I am the perma DM for the most part. Isometric maps do sound cool as well. Now, where did you find isometric tokens? It converts the images into ISO for you. Bailey Wiki on YouTube. Interesting. All right. Very well. Bailey Wiki, Foundry, $50. That's a ringing endorsement for me. Not only, I mean, basically, it's a very tough find to find one-time charge software out there anymore. Everything is subscription based. Everything. They want their pound of flesh and they want it every month. And I can't stand it, you know. I miss the good old days of like a one-time charge. And the thing is for 99.9% of products, I would pay more for a one-time charge than I would. Like, if you tell me I could have lifetime access to something for $200, or I could pay $2 a month to have lifetime access to it, I would pay the $200. I would put it on a credit card and pay it off, because lifetime access to anything is better than paying something for the rest of your life. It just is. Cinderella, what are you doing? Rubbing your stink all over the place. It's also why I use the battle operations images, because they look even nicer. Yes, they do. Figuring out how to incorporate the rules to the game. D&D is supported, so it has a lot. Okay, so that's another question that I have about Foundry, is how easy is it to import custom character sheets and rules and things like that. Fortunately, the new version of Gundam 5e is closer to traditional D&D 5e, so you can actually get away with using plain old character sheets. So there's the advantage of that. However, there's still the question of like tracking mobile suit stats, things like that, which again, the new version of mobile suits is kind of handled the same way that vehicles are, which is probably how I should have done it to begin with. You know, one of the biggest mistakes that I made was trying to treat mobile suits like armor, which I thought was clever, but turns out, according to feedback, according to focus groups, we've confirmed that Hatter's original idea was dog shit. Never done it, so I can't really say. It shouldn't be too insane since they managed to put PTU. PTU is stupid complicated. Oh, so Foundry is a virtual tabletop. So it's the same as like Roll20 or Astral. But the difference is, like, look, you know, I have some programming chops, and I can make a JavaScript custom character sheet from scratch. No problem. However, I don't want to have to pay for the privilege of doing it on Roll20, and I don't want to have to learn their API. One of the nice things about Astral is that importing custom character sheets is pretty simple. The biggest pain in the butt with that is that sharing them with other people, you need like developer access, which, you know, props to Astral. It was cool of them to offer free premium to people during the pandemic and all that. You know, I took advantage of it. I'm sure a lot of people did. Not a great way to run your business. I'm not going to tell you how to run your business, but probably not a great way to run your business to give away the product for free. It would be one thing to give away parts of it, you know, like, hey, we're supporting such and such, you know, but you don't want to just say, again, to make it a weird metaphor, that would be like, you know how during the pandemic, a lot of movie studios were saying, hey, we're going to release our movies on streaming services. You can watch Black Widow on Disney Plus instead of having to go to the theater and get sick. That would be like them just saying, hey, we're going to mail everybody a DVD for free. What? Like, that doesn't make sense. Yes, generous to a fault is a great way to put it. You don't give away the business for free. Cool. Then if there's enough interest in it, if you guys would, if you would see value in it, that's the biggest thing for me is I don't want to do anything for Gundam 5e as a system that people aren't going to get a use out of. I made the mistake of kind of investing all of my time and energy into things that people really, most of the time, complained about. You know, it was like the character sheets that were form fillable but also had auto calculations in them. You know, I thought it was helpful because I hate doing math, and, you know, having all of that math done for you, you just plug in your ability scores and everything else follows. I thought that was a good idea. As it turns out, it wasn't a very popular option. Foundry also helps out a lot of Patreon artists. They make tokens and sell everything pretty cheap. There you go. So yeah, if you guys think that making Foundry assets for Gundam 5e would be worthwhile. If it's something that you guys would get some use out of, let me know, and that'll be something that I work on. You know, I won't obviously go overboard with it, but I will invest some of my spare time in that. Anyway, I think that we are coming up on about an hour of streaming, which means I probably need to go feed some dogs, maybe feed myself, and get ready for a long weekend. And again, you know, the sort of projects that I am looking to, let's see, assets, tokens, assets, etc. Easy to put tokens and assets from anything else too. Thanks to SD Games. Yeah, thanks to Spriter's Resource, honestly. Big shout out to the person that ripped all of those sprites from SD G Generation Genesis, because that's what I use for just about everything. I don't normally prefer SD art style, but for the purposes of, you know, on a map and stuff, I'm a big fan of like the Glass Cannon podcast, right? And they use Roll20, and they also use a lot of tokens and sprites that are normal scale, normal proportions. And they're fine, but you know, you have to zoom in like real fine to get a full picture of what you're looking at. The nice thing about SD tokens is that even from far away, they still look good because you still get, you know, the head, you get some of the core features and that sort of thing. Sadly, if there's something to complain about, people will do it. No. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I would like to be streaming a lot more. I've been kind of slacking the last couple months trying to get the latest PDF up, and the new PDF will be coming soon, with all the typos and things like that corrected. As well, the Gundam 5e website is going to be cleaned up and perfected here shortly. The other thing is it's going to be much easier for people to submit community content, because it's basically all imported from a single Google Sheet, and so there's going to be like a submission form on the website. You put stats and things into the submission form, they get uploaded to the Google Sheet, the Google Sheet updates the website. It's a whole it's a programming nightmare, but I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun. I swear I'm having fun. But I think that it's going to make keeping the website up to date and keeping fresh content coming, not just from me, but from, you know, people who know what they're doing a lot better than I do as well, you know, a little easier. And then in addition, like I said, you know, 3D print models, if that's something that you guys are interested in seeing, that if you guys want me to make 3D print models for you guys to download and use, tokens and assets for Foundry, I'm definitely going to invest in Foundry now that I've gotten some ringing endorsements for it. You know, people had kind of suggested it, but I hadn't really thought. I was like, it just looked. The demo to me didn't offer a lot. The demo kind of seems just like Roll20 when you log into that browser demo that Foundry offers. I really wanted to dig into sort of the developer resources and what it would be like to be on the GM side of the Foundry software. So now that I know that it's got some power behind it and that there's a kind of fruitful community as far as tutorials go, I'm going to look into it, and I will definitely start creating some content for that. In addition, like I said, keep your eyes out, because once I figure out some of the gameplay mechanics for this video game that I'm working on, I like to think that it's got some replay value to it, because, well, it's procedurally generated. So every game is different, right? But I'm doing some things with procedural generation that I haven't seen other people do just quite yet. So, with that, I hope you guys have an excellent evening, a great rest of your week, and I guess I will catch you all later. Give me a shout on Discord. Give me a shout in the comments down below. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out, chatting with me while I struggle through another session of Gundam side stories. You all take it easy. I appreciate everything. Later.